Hi, my name is Ashwini Kumar and welcome to my channel. So in the previous lecture we saw the teaching aptitude part 1 and it is the part 2. So in this part 2 what we are going to discuss is that actually the first unit of the general paper 1 is teaching aptitude, and in that first unit these are all the subtopics of the first unit, right? So out of these six subtopics, we discussed about the teaching in the previous video, and in this video we are going to discuss about the learner's characteristics. That is the second topic of the first unit, that is learner characteristics. So as per the UGC syllabus, the subtopics of these learner characteristics are characteristics of adolescent and adult learning and the individual differences. So both these two are the concepts given as per the UGC syllabus. But to make you understand clearly, I just divided those two subtopics into eight subtopics. So don't get scared. All these eight subtopics are important for the exam. But in the UGC syllabus, they just given only both these two as a subtopics of the learner characteristics. But as per the previous year questions, definitely we have to go through all these eight different types of subtopics, right? So here the first one is the concept of learning, and the second is the meaning and definition of the learning, and the third one is the characteristics of learning, or else it is also called as a learning characteristics, and fourth one is the types of learning, and fifth one is the learner's characteristics. Don't get confused between the 2.3 and 2.5 topic. Both these two are different. Why? Because it is learning characteristics and it is a learner's characteristics. So to make you understand the difference between both these two, just make yourself understand what is the meaning of a learning and the learners. So learning is just a way of process to learn, right? And while coming to the learners means, just for example, students, of course not only students, faculty and the lecturers, all these are comes under the learners, right? And the next topic is the characteristics of adolescent learners. So here the adolescent means the candidate's age in between the preschool and the adult age, right? Just like from conversion of child age to the adult age. So in that transmission of the age, that is called as an adolescent learners. So how their characteristics will be, and characteristics of the adult learners. So adult learners means we may take just like in the college students, like that. And the next one is the individual differences. So how the learning will difference between the individuals. So all these are the eight different types of topics we are going to see in this video. And first one is the concept of learning. So the one thing you have to understand throughout this video is that generally people think that learning is nothing but learning from the textbooks and learning from the notebooks and learning from the internet and learning from something. Okay, so all these are all the people will think that it is the meaning of learning, but as per this unit point of view, you should not think that learning is nothing but simply reading from textbooks or notebooks or some internets or some mobile phones. So learning is nothing but uh, people will learn from the others, and people will learn from the nature, and people will learn from their past experiences, and people will learn from their different attitudes. So it means here the reading from the textbooks is not only the learning from others how to live and how to use the words and how to behave. So all these things we're going to learn from the other people and from the environment, from the different formats will be there. So all these are comes under the meaning of the learning. Of course most of the people will learn especially from their past experiences, right? So here the learning is a key concept in the human behavior. That is, if we learn properly, if we learn some for example from mythological books also, we're going to learn something, how to behave and how to talk and how to exist and how to spend our life. So all these things. So anyhow, learning is a key concept in changing the human behavior, and the learning strongly influences the acquisition of the information and the attitudes, and it influences our beliefs and our goals and achievements and the failures and behavior. And learning also influences or it teaches how to handle the failures, but because definitely we have to learn how to handle the failures, right, from the success the people. Otherwise, we will be in the depressed, right? So these are all the main thing, the concept of learning. And as per the experts, few experts' point of view, what exactly the meaning and definition of the learning is. So while coming to the Hilgard, learning is a process by which an activity originates or is changed through the training procedures. Right? That means the learning is a process which our activities are going to be changed with the help of some training procedures. And as per the Bernard, it is a process by which an organism satisfying the motivation adopts or adjusts to the situations in which it must modify its behavior in order to overcome the obstacles and barriers, right? So learning is a process where we have to adjust to the situations. Why? Because in our life we are not going to stick to a single situation. But because if you are a kid, our situations are different. From kid to child, our situations will be different, and from child to adolescent, and from adolescent to adult. So from in each and every stage, that means we can say that in studying age to the job age, and in job age to the marriage age, so all these things, so our situations will be different from age to age. So definitely whatever the learning process is there, it must teach us how to adjust to the situations and how to modify our behavior in order to overcome the obstacles and barriers, right? So Bernard gave the wonderful definition, and while coming to the McGurch, learning as we measure it is a change in the performance as a function of the practice, right? So let's take the studying. Uh, in the starting stages, we cannot able to solve the problems in any one unit, right? But if we keep on practicing, then automatically our performance on solving the problems regarding one concept will be changed, right? And while coming to the Walker EL, the learning as a relatively permanent change in the performance that occurs as a result of experience and is not attributable to the maturation, fatigue, or motivation. That means, as per the Walker definition, the learning will comes under from the result of experiences, right? Well, because if you did some mistake, from that mistake, we will learn something, and whatever the things we learn from that already did mistake, that learning will not make you to repeat the mistake. If you are not repeating the previous mistake, it's nothing but a permanent change in your performance or in your behavior, right? So it is a thing, as per the experts view, the learning, what exactly it can be defined as. And now any good definition of the learning, that means how many experts and whatever the experts are giving the different definitions to the learning. So all the definitions will definitely cover these 3 points. The first one is learning will change the behavior, and the next one is whatever the changes takes place, it takes place through the experiences or the practices, and the changes due to growth or maturation or inquiry cannot be considered as a learning, right? So if you are growing and if you are maturing, so all these things are not considered as a learning. Whatever the experience you got and whatever the practice you did, so whatever the thing you are getting from both these two process, it is called as a learning. Then only it will change your performance and the way of thinking. Why? Because if you're simply growing from 20 years to 30 years and 30 years to 40 years and 40 years to 50 years without learning anything, it's not a meaning of changing in your behavior. So we have to learn something from the experience, from the past experience. We have to learn something from the doing, keep on practicing. Okay. So by doing such type of things, then only we can, the such type of a learning process, right, will be permanently change your attitude or the behavior or the way of thinking and all these things. And the third point is the occurred change must be relatively permanent. Whatever the change is occurred due to the learning process, it must be permanent. That is, the learned response must last for a fairly long time, right? So these are the very good definition of the learning. So whatever the experts will give. And while coming to the characteristics of the learning, okay, that means if you learn, then what are the behavior? What is the thing we are going to observe is the first point is modification in the behavior. That means our behavior will be changes. So if you read some mythological books or some religious books or some speeches or some other, I mean, what we call well succeeded the people, if the well succeeded people will give some speeches, then it may change our behavior, right? That means we're going to learn something from those people and something from our role models, persons, right? And learning is a purposive, definitely it must have some purpose and it is a continuous process. So definitely up to our end of the life, we have to learn something definitely. Either it might be the past experiences or it might be the environment or it might be the some other people who are going to learn continuously. And it is a universal phenomena because each and every animal or human beings or birds, whatever the living things are there, those are going to learn something definitely. Why? Because it is a universal, it's a universal phenomenon, it happens everywhere. And the learning is progressive and developmental, but because whatever the things we learn from the past experiences, definitely that experience you learned from the past will not make you to repeat the mistakes. So if you're not doing the mistakes means you are in the progressive and in the developmental way. And the learning is a transferable means whatever the knowledge I gained, I can able to transfer my knowledge to some other person, right? So that means it is a transferable thing. And while coming to the physical things, I cannot able to transfer my hands or legs to other people, right? So those are not transferable. Of course few organs are transferable, but here coming to the main concept, learning. So learning is a transferable, that means whatever the things I learned or whatever the things the teachers learned, the teachers will transfer their knowledge to the students. So that's why it's here the learning process is transferable. And coming to the types of learning, so how many types of learnings are there means here the four different types of learnings. Of course a huge number of learning types are there, but as per the psychologists and as per the what we call experts point of view, four different types of learning process are highlighted. And out of those four, here the first one is motor learning. Here motor is not I mean, it's not just like a mechanical motor. Here what is the meaning of this motor learning is, I will say, I mean, before going into this definition, I will say one thing that if any one person starts doing the skipping with the thread, right? Let's take it is the earth surface. So if he start doing the skipping, if it is the first time to this person, then he can't able to skip properly. Why? Because his mind cannot able to guide him when the rope will come down and how much force he has to apply to jump up, right? And what is the length of this thread and how much strength he has to get to jump up and when he has to come down. So all these things initially his mind cannot able to decide, right? But after keep on doing practicing and practicing, then he will definitely learns from the past mistakes. So how much amount of energy he has to apply to jump up such that the rope will come and go back and again come and go back. So he has to jump continuously. So like that, his mind will give proper signals to the hands, proper signals to the legs. So the legs and hands is nothing but a motor type of movements will be there, right? So just like this. So if you are first time if you are playing the tennis racket, then you cannot able to correctly judge where the ball is coming and at which point I have to hit with this bat. So with this racket, we can't able to judge. If you keep on practicing and practicing and practicing, automatically our brain will send the signals to the hands. It will send the signals to the legs. So how much amount of pressure we have to apply and at which angle we have to keep the bat. So all these signals, whatever the signals those are coming from the brain, we are not simply taking a paper and doing the calculations with this amount of angle, with this amount of angle. So we have to put, so all these calculations will automatically done within the brain, and this motor learning will be efficient by keep on doing the practice, right? So these are all the different examples I kept. So if a man is doing work like this, then he's momentary. So just observe his joints. So it is nothing but a rotor learning. So that means he has to learn something perfectly after keep on doing the practice. And if you're hitting a football, so at with which angle we have to hit such that it will go in this direction or in this direction or in this direction. So why? Because we have to always hit the football towards the goal direction only, such that our brain has to give certain signals to the legs such that we can able to hit the balls in the particular direction and it will perfectly direct towards the goal. So these are all the concepts comes under the motor learning. So generally the motor learning is nothing but if you're playing the games, it depends upon the coach but all the calculations has to be inbuilt within your brain with rigorous practicing. So now while coming to the definition, previously we discussed about what exactly the motor learning is. So this includes all kinds of things people learn to do, such as eating with a spoon or fork, swimming, typewriting, drives a car, etc. So all these are comes under the motor learning, and learning of such skills depends upon the maturity and sensory motor coordination and integration of the responses related to the intended skill learned at initial preliminary stages, right? So for perfect doing of this motor learning, there must be a perfect motor coordination must be there. Sensory motor coordination means, let's take here the hand. Let's take this joint is nothing but a motor, and here the sensory coordination means from brain to here, the coordination must be there. Whenever the coordination is perfectly maintained, then only the perfect angle to hit the ball will be happened. Not only any type of game or any type of work, if you're driving the car, then you have to continuously switch on the accelerator, brake and the clutch with the help of your legs. So each and everything, if you're doing the typewriting, then definitely you have to make your finger movements depending upon the alphabets arrangement on the keypad. And the next one is a discrimination learning. So coming to this, discrimination is nothing but a differentiation, right? So here the discrimination means, first we'll see the definition and then I will explain you what exactly it is. The general feature of this type of learning is that the subject has to differentiate between the two stimuli. That means the two situations which occur to him simultaneously. Whenever the two situations are happen simultaneously, then we can able to discriminate which one it is and which one it is, right? So for example, if the two entrances are there to any one room, so if here in this entrance some obstacles are there, then if the person is here, if he wants to go out of this room, here the two exits are there. So if this exit is blocked with some wooden gates or anything, then definitely this candidate will select this exit. That is nothing but a discrimination. He has to discriminate which, if the two situations are happened simultaneously, he has to discriminate which one is the better to him to follow further. So that is called as a discrimination learning. So here the differentiation between mother and a stranger, right? Dog and a dog, that means the living thing and a non-living thing. So the three important situations of this discrimination learning are probability learning, incidental learning and the reversal learning. So coming to the animals, so animals can use the discrimination learning to help them survive, because whatever the food they want to eat, they will simply smell that food. So if it is eatable, then only the dog will eat. That means with the help of the smelling, it can able to discriminate whether it has to eat or not. So like that, it will survive. And a trained dog is used to discriminate, discrimination learning. It actually uses the discrimination learning to detect the difference in complex order compounds. That means the police or the military trained dogs can able to detect the drugs and the bombs and the RDX, all these things. So they are properly trained. Such type of training is nothing but discrimination learning. So with the help of this discrimination learning, the dogs can able to identify, whether it is a normal thing or it is an abnormal thing, such that the police people can able to catch the thieves or anybody's culprits, so that they are able to sniff, nothing but smell out the different drugs to assess the people. So humans can also use this discrimination learning to detect the dangers. And the one best example, as per from my side, the discrimination learning in humans would be a baby who reacts differently to their mother's voice to the stranger's voice, right? So whenever the baby listens the mother's voice, then automatically the baby will keep calm. If they listen some stranger's voice, they may start crying. So it's nothing but a discrimination learning. And the next one is a verbal learning. So up to now we saw the two different types of learnings. One is a motor learning and second one is a discrimination learning. It is a third one, that is a verbal learning. So verbal learning is advanced thing, or else I don't know. I mean, not the advanced. Actually, whenever the education started, whenever the language started, then the verbal learning also started. So verbal learning means it will be having some different alphabets will be there. So in English and in Hindi, in Telugu, so different alphabets will be there. So with the help of those alphabets, bits, and the proper pronunciation, so with all these things, and with the first the alphabets will be there, from alphabets to words, from words to sentence, okay, and from sentence to understanding what exactly the concept is. So like that, such type of learning is nothing but a verbal learning. So whatever the preparation you are doing for the UGC net is just nothing but a verbal learning. Why? Because whatever the things are there in the textbooks or the materials or the PDFs, we're simply learning the concepts, fine. And it is a fourth type of learning, that is the conceptual learning. So conceptual learning means it leads to the thinking and doing the research on something, so like that. So learning a concept is to react to some common properties in a group of objects. That means if you are learning something, either it might be the motor learning, or it might be the verbal learning, or some discrimination learning, we are going to react with some new concepts. So why it is happening like this, why can't it is happen like this, so like that thing. In children, the conceptual learning starts at a very young age, but because the children will ask a lot of questions, why that is happening, why the moon is coming at the night, and why the sun is coming in the morning, and is the earth rotating, but why we are not rotating. So all such type of huge doubts will become to the children. At the very early stage, they try to learn about various situations of the environment and attach verbal labels for them. That means whatever things they are learning, they will attach the verbal labels to them, just like a house. If they saw any one fruit, then they will say that it's a fruit. Okay, if they learned it clearly, they will able to discriminate which type of fruit it is. So wood and a man, girl, etc. Such type of things. So once the concepts are learned, they are manipulated in language and thinking. So whenever the concepts are learned, they can able to change their language or change the level of thinking, all these things. So the continuation of this concept learning is, at higher stages of learning, the power of thinking and the judgment is very well developed, and the individuals becomes capable of solving the problems in. So capable of solving the problems means not only in the textbook problems, whatever the problems they are getting in their lives. Okay, so they can able to overcome those problems also with the help of the learning methodologies. Fine. The next concept is the learner's characteristics. Okay, learner's characteristics. So the learner's characteristics depends upon the personal, academic, social and emotional, and cognitive. So I will say in a simple way about these things, and later we will see the definitions and all these things. So personal means it depends upon the maturity levels of the individuals. Okay, here you can see maturity levels of the individuals and the demographic information. So at which place they are locating, so it depends upon that place also. Their personal characteristics will depend, just like the age, gender, language, social, economical, cultural background, and the specific needs of the leader groups. So all these personal things will impact the learner's characteristics. Okay, that means if you are locating in the rural area, their characteristics will be different. Their knowledge levels and the study levels are different. If you are locating in an urban area and if you are locating in a metropolitan cities, the way of learning characteristics will be different in the rural areas, urban areas, and in well developed cities, right? And coming to the academic, so academic means the example is that we are having, I mean, in the school ages we are having the state based syllabus, central based syllabus, and the international based syllabus, so like that. And if you come to the graduations, different affiliated, I mean different universities are there. So based upon in which universities we are studying or in which boards we are studying, our characteristics will change based upon the syllabus set by that particular boards, state syllabus or central syllabus, like that. Next one is social and economic, social and emotional. So social and emotional means community. So it depends upon the community. So community means the characteristics of the learners will change based upon the social and emotional also. For example, I am saying the two simple examples. So if any one room, if 11 number of students are staying, out of this 11, I'm just dividing like this, 10 and 1. So if the 10 students are not studying and they're going outside to watch the movies or like that. This candidate will study for a few days, and after few days this candidate will also be impacted by these 10 people, and he will also jump the hostel wall and go to the movies like that, right? Isn't it? So that like that this candidate characteristics will impacted by the community also. It's nothing but a social community, right? Just observe this case in different way. If in the same room the 10 students are learning properly, and if the one student is not learning, and after few days he just mingle up with these 10 candidates and he also starts learning. So like that the social community will shows very much impact on the characteristics of the learners. And the next one is the cognitive. Cognitive is nothing but a simply I can say that IQ levels. That means the problem solving level, thinking level. So all these things are comes under the cognitive things. So we saw the personal characteristics and academic characteristics. Okay, individual or group or prior knowledge and educational type. Educational type means whatever the syllabus set by the board and such type of things comes under, and educational levels also. And coming to the social and economical characteristics, some group structures and place of the individual within the group. That means where the person is locating within the group. That is very much important. Sociability, self-image, feelings of efficiency and emotion, etc. And the cognitive characteristics means memorizing the concepts and the mental procedures and the solving the problems and the thinking levels and the remembering level. So all these things, so which is pertaining to the brain, his or her brain. So these are comes under the cognitive characteristics, right? So these are the four main learners characteristics. And next, coming to the characteristics of the adolescent learners. So adolescent learners means, here I kept one pic. So in this pic you can observe the different stages of the human life. So it is a starting stage and it is the ending stage. So adolescent age means from this stage to this stage, right? So I think you can understand that. So in this stage, how the characteristics of these candidates will change. Okay, it depends upon the physical, intellectual, social, emotional, and psychological, and moral, right? So here, while coming to the physical means the shape of the body will change and the maturity levels are changing and the hormonal changes will be very drastic, getting emotional very easy and taking the quick decisions. So just like in this age only, the generally kids will be addicted to the drugs and all such type of things may happen. Next one is the intellectual, and here the social community, emotional, psychological, and moral things. We will say one by one here. So physical development means here hormonal changes will be there, and the physical activity must be there due to the increased energy, and some sexual awareness will be developed due to the often touching and jumpings with others, playing with others. A concern with changes in the body size and the shape. And coming to the intellectual development, moving from concrete to abstract level of thinking. So concrete means whatever the thing is there in the textbooks, they will fix. That is a fixed one, fixed thing. And in this adolescent age, they start thinking, okay, why can't be like that? Why can't be like this? Okay, like so developing the capacity to understanding higher levels of humor, and some of which may be misunderstood by the adults to be sarcastic and even more aggressive, and high achievements when challenged and engaged. So if you challenge those adolescent candidates, they will move with high achievements and demand the relevance and learning and what is being taught. So whatever the subjects is taught or concepts is taught, they will try to learn them. And next one is the social development. So overreacting to the ridicule and embarrassment and rejection. So if anybody rejected them, they will definitely overreact. And seeking approval of peers, that means if you appreciate them, they will take as a grant immediately. And others with attention getting behaviors, they will try to grasp the others' attention. And exploring questions of racial and ethnic identity, and seeking peers who shares the same background. And emotional and psychological development. So mood swing marked by peaks of intensity. That means their moods will swing continuously in the peaks level. Self-consciousness will be developed, and the physical growth and maturity will be in the developing stage. And a belief that their personal problems, feelings, and experiences are unique to themselves. They will believe that whatever the problems they are getting, those are unique to themselves only, and these problems are not getting to anybody in the world. So it leads to so much depressions and sometimes leads to suicides also. So our faculty or the teacher's responsibility is to take care very much in the adolescent age of the students. And coming to the moral development, the understanding of the complexity of moral issues, whatever the cultural expressions or the religious teaching, they cannot able to understand those things. And being capable and understand and interested in participating in a democracy and highly dependent on the parents. And judging the others quickly based upon the limited knowledge, and later they will realize their own faults very slowly, and getting influenced by the adult role models very easily, who will listen and be trustworthy. So all these are comes under the moral developments. And coming to the next thing, that is characteristics of the adults learners. So they are completely problem centered and they seek educational solutions, and the result oriented learning will be there, and they are all self directed and seeking education that relates or applies directly to their perceived needs, that is timely and appropriate for their current lives, and accept responsibility for their own learning. That means we need not to teach them separately, they will learn by themselves if learning is perceived as timely and appropriate to them. And coming to the individual differences, so how come any two bodies are individually differences means, here the physical appearance will be different, and the intelligence will be the different, and their attitudes will be different, achievements will be different, motor ability will be different, sex is different, just like male and female, girl and boy. Racial differences will be there, and the economic status also difference will be there, their interest will be different, emotions will be different, and personalities also will be different. So all these 12 or comes under the individual differences between the two students or the two candidates, right? So completely these are all the topics regarding the learning or learner characteristics, right? It is the second topic of the first unit. So what we studied is that totally the 8 subtopics we studied, that is the concept of learning. So the concept of learning is mainly used to change the human behavior permanently, and the learning is depending upon not only with respect to the textbooks, it depends upon the past experience and the other human beings or or the role models, and the meaning and definition by the few experts. And whatever the definitions we are giving to the learning, it must include the 3 points, that is change in behavior, and the changes happens due to the experience or practice, not by the maturity, and the occurred changes must be relatively permanent, that means it stays for a long time. And coming to the learning characteristics, the learning must be the modification of behavior will happens, and it must be the purposive, it is a continuous process, universal phenomenon, progressive and development, and it is a transferable. So coming to the types of learning, 4 different types of learning are there. Motor learning, it relates to the sensory elements, and the discrimination learning, that we can able to discriminate the two situations if they happen simultaneously. Here the animals are also trained to discriminate the something. And the verbal learning, which we are start learning with respect to the alphabets, words and sentences. Conceptual learning, which leads to thinking of something. And the learner's characteristics, personal, academic, social and emotional and cognitive. So personal means the place where the candidates are staying, so from that place they will learn something, and due to their age, gender, maturation, language, the social, economic, cultural background, from all these things they will learn by themselves personally. And from the academic characteristics, that means by the educational type or the educational system they are locating in. And the social and emotional characteristics, that means in which community they are staying, what is the group, with which group they are staying. Cognitive characteristics is related to the brain, that is IQ levels of the candidates. And the characteristics of the adolescent learners is physical, intellectual, social, emotional and psychological and moral. So physical development means their body and shape will be changes, and huge hormonal imbalance will be there. And the intellectual development is also changing from concrete to the abstract thinking. They will be somewhat little bit aggressive, and if you challenge them they will react very highly. And the social development, so social development means they try to explore to the society and the social and asking questions regarding the social, why it is happening like that. Emotional and physical psychological development will be there, that means mood swings will be very high, and they will believe that the problems will be happening to them only. And the moral development also happen. In the moral development stage, they completely rely on the parents and some other adults for advice. Even though they will take their own decision, but anyhow they will try to take the advice from their elders. and judging the others very quickly, and lately they will realize their mistake. And the characteristics of the adults learning is nothing but a problem centered, result oriented, and self directed, and they will accept the responsibilities. And the individual differences happens in these 12 types, that is appearance in the physical shapes, and in the intelligence, and in their attitudes or the characters, in the achievements, and in the motor ability, and in the sex, and in the racial differences, and the economic status, interests, emotions, and the personality. So from person to person, all these 12 things will change. So it is a concept. In the next concept, we will see the third topic of the first unit, that is factors affecting the teaching. Right. So please subscribe the channel to encourage, and please share this video or the channel to as maximum as possible the candidates who are preparing for the UG Senate exam. Okay. Thank you.